getting in all type of stuff in South Bay. 30 days right before I was supposed to go home, had a secret indictment and for my case, and then I went back to Nashua Street. My first day in the max, they sent me to the gray side. Somebody tried to stab me, so I got into that altercation. It was wild.
Wow. Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. I got a special guest with me today. Why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for having me. My name's O Stacks, but everybody just call me O. I'm from Roxbury, Academy Home section of Roxbury. You know me, I did 15 years out of 17 years when I was 17 years old. Just came home a little bit over 2 years ago.
Glad to see you out. Welcome home. Thank you for coming up here for sure. So just tell me a little bit about what's the environment like at, what'd you say, Academy Homes?
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about that.
Academy Homes is a housing development. So, you know, growing up there, my parents are from Nigeria, so they moved out to Academy Homes when I was a kid. Well, now I was born and raised there. So being from out there, I got two older brothers, a little sister. My pops got deported when we was kids. So just a single mother, immigrant mother. So just we had to learn on our own. It was a different growing up for my mother, so she didn't really know what was going on outside of the house, but we was raised properly by her. But just growing up in the housing development was something totally different, and just you had to fend for your own, go through life and just figure it out yourself, and just through that whole process you just build bonds outside of your household. You grow to have love for your brothers outside of the household because we're struggling doing the same things, and just growing from there just led to other things.
What age do you start getting in trouble with the law?
The first time I got locked up was on my mother's birthday, actually. You know what I mean? I went to Hyde Park, so I was just like at Forest Hills, waiting for the 42 bus that goes back to academies, and just getting into it with an older individual. But just a misunderstanding. He was like 40, I was like 13, 14 at the time. Getting into a misunderstanding with him is like now he's bigger than me, he's way much older than me, but he still kept egging it on, trying to come at me, and I had a knife. Yeah. So I just pulled out the knife, never stabbed him, nothing. He ran off. Police came. Yeah. Since I had a knife, they locked me up, went straight to DYS, and that's what got the ball rolling after
so
that.
Was that kind of like a culture shock showing up at DYS?
At the time, I had like one friend that he got locked up, but I never experienced DYS at the time. So when I first got into DYS, I got into a little trouble in the neighborhood, but never got arrested. That was my first time. So just going into DYS was like something different. I'm like, what's this about?
People asking you right away, like, where you from?
Yeah, I remember the first time I went into DYS, the staff comes downstairs, come get you to bring you to the unit, and the staff automatically asks you where you from. I don't tell them. Right. I mean, because I know he's staff, so I don't tell him where I'm from. So he just looks at my my paper and just sees my address, and he knows where that's at. So he tells me, oh, don't tell nobody you live in academies. But I'm like, I already know what it is. So I go up there. There's kids from different neighborhoods that probably don't like where I grew up at. So, and then got into a couple fights, things like that. But I wasn't in DY long. Ended up getting out.
So just talk, what DYS were you in? Harvard
Street?
I
was at Harvard Street,
Metro?
Yeah. On Spectrum Boys, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Spectrum was kind of wild. I remember when I first went up there making my bed, there was like a little shake right under the mattress. It was like a nail with duct tape and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, this is how it is in here. But I never really had no issues myself in DYS. Are you going back and forth to DYS? Do you get out? You're on probation? What's your whole, you get committed?
Nah, my DYS thing was just like that incident, and then just getting locked up for like little petty stuff like weed and things like that. But I never got committed, and I was just going in and out for little petty things like that.
So eventually you do get to the age of an adult. How old are you on your first adult case?
At the time, 17 was an adult. So I got locked up at 14. So 3 years later, basically, I got locked up for attempt, a shooting case. And when I was 17, well, I just turned 17 a couple months, and then I went in for that. Had no bail, so I was sitting for that in Nashua Street, getting into all type of stuff in Nashua Street, shipping me all around from Plymouth, Dartmouth, all over the place. And then eventually I landed in South Bay. I ended up beating that case, and they just charged me for violating my probation because I was on probation at the time. So I did my, I was doing my 1 year, in South Bay, getting in all type of stuff in South Bay. 30 days right before I was supposed to go home, had a secret indictment and for a murder case, and then I went back to Nashua Street.
Just explain for the people and to me how the secret indictment thing works.
So basically, secret indictment is like a case happens, the investigation is going on while you don't know about it. As the investigation is going, they're gathering information and then leads them to a suspect or suspects. And then they go to the grand jury. And the grand jury is basically a pool of people in your community that sit, the DA sits in a room. Your defense lawyer is not there, it's only the DA. They present evidence. There's no way of like your defense going against their statements. It's just basically the DA presents a case, simple evidence, he say, she say, hearsay, not even concrete evidence, and leaves it up to the jury, to the pool of people to vote. Is there enough evidence to charge them? Gotcha. And that's how they get the secret indictment and charge you when you don't even know yet.
So it's like a one-sided thing too.
It's
you don't
basically
even get a chance.
one-sided.
Like who's behind that? Is that the Boston police, state police? How is that work?
The district attorney. So basically a case happens, the Boston police or whatever district police, wherever the case happens at, they present it to the DA, then the DA takes the case of all the evidence that they gather and bring it to the grand jury.
So they hit you with the secret indictment. What does this mean for you getting out?
Since it was a serious case, automatically no bail. They charged me and my co-defendant. I was in South Bay. My co-defendant was a DYS in Rosendale. Took him from Rosendale, brought him to Plymouth because he was still a juvenile. He was 16. Yep. Kids with that type of case, they sent them to Plymouth at the time. And me, at 17 at the time, I'm considered an adult. Yep. So they brought me back to Nashua Street to fight that case.
How long are you sitting there fighting that case for?
So I sat for like 3.5, 4 years for that case.
Tell me a little bit about like your mindset getting that secret indictment hits you. It's a serious charge. You think you're going home soon or whatever. What are you thinking in your head? You're young at the time. What's going through your mind?
It really didn't hit me at first until like I actually went into the courtroom and they reading the charges and things like that. And I'm just thinking like, how did I even get here? How did they even put me in this situation? The struggle, how am I gonna explain it to my family and things like that? And just growing up in that type of environment and just knowing all the things I've been involved in and never got locked up for, or did get locked up for. I knew what this lifestyle brings, the prison or death, and this was one of them.
What's that conversation like when you gotta tell your mom, man, she's doing the best she can, now you gotta tell her you're locked up for this? I mean, that must be devastating.
It was crazy, but I actually didn't even get a chance to tell her. I just had my brothers tell her. Because they was out there, they can get in more detail. I didn't want to speak too much over the phone. So I just had my brother explain it to my mother, and obviously she was devastated, but she still stuck by me.
That's what's up. I feel like at the end of the day, moms be holding it down a lot more than the homies, bro.
Exactly.
So you say you're sitting waiting trial for 3-4 years. That's a long time. Why was it such a long time? Because of the seriousness of the case? The
seriousness of the case and the lack of like evidence, and just because the secret indictment is just people hearsay, he say, she say, and not no concrete evidence. There was no eyewitness. It's just people that just want to get out of their situation and just heard about the situation, just where that case happened at, who I am, and just put things together. And just.
What's your lawyer telling you at that point? Because you're telling me this all hearsay, it's not that much evidence. Is the lawyer kind of telling you, we got this, or?
I mean, you have a strong case, like a beatable case, because it happened, you got charged a year later, so obviously somebody had to say something if you get a charge a year later. Me, I'm 17, 18 at the time. I don't know nothing about the law. I'm just like, all right, when you get locked up, I'm assuming you just do time. I never think about like fighting a case and reading case laws and things like that. But like he coached me through that, like look up case laws, help bring it to me, private investigator, things like that. But I was confident in going to trial at the time. But the only reason why I didn't go to trial and just took the time is because I had another co-defendant, my best friend, and my sister, so I didn't want to put them through that. So I just took the time and just hopefully me and him took the time and just make sure everybody was just straight.
And just for the record, was this a a paid lawyer? Did you have money to get a paid lawyer?
I had a pro bono lawyer. Pro bono lawyer is basically, he's equivalent to a paid lawyer. Basically, if I would have paid, he was the type of lawyer that I would have paid, and I was 17. My family don't got no money like that.
Yeah.
So even if I just got lucky and got a pro bono lawyer.
So just kind of break that down for the people who don't know. What is pro bono? What does that mean?
So basically, a pro bono lawyer is a lawyer. He or she's typically paid to represent high-profile cases, but under the state law, most paid lawyers have to take on an indigent client. So basically, a client that doesn't have money to pay for your type of representation.
What year is it when you take this plea bargain?
So I got incarcerated at 2007. And I took this plea bargain in 2011.
Did you feel that you got a fair shake with that plea deal? Did you feel like you got smoked?
I feel like I didn't, because of the lack of the evidence and just me being black and young and not knowing just to get it over with, just sitting for so long, I'm like, all right, let me just get this over with, give them what they want, and I just get out their way.
So where's the first stop for you? 2011. Where's classification at that point?
At that time, 2011, classification was Walpole.
So you get up to Walpole. Just talk about that a little bit. How was your stay up there? What was the first thing you know difference between your county stays and then you get to Walpole, you go state prison?
The first thing I noticed was like how the units were set up, like this, the infrastructure, the building, just going in, and just the number of people, and just how free flowing everybody's going, and just going into the child hall for the first time, and just seeing people that I've seen in county. And like I said before, I've bounced around from county to county, so seeing people from Dartmouth, Plymouth, Worcester, things like that, just knowing that, okay, this is where the whole state comes to.
Okay. So how does it work? You get your, the first meal, you get your tray, you look at where to sit. How do you figure that out? Do you got somebody saying, this is our table, or how does that work for you, or just? Like
being in like South Bay and things like that, and being from where I grew up at, I knew that there's dudes, like, we got a long history, so it's just like anybody that's from my area, from academies, we already have establishment up there, sadly to say, but we already have an establishment up there. And at the time, Walpole wasn't like how the old Walpole was, where there's this table, that table, this neighborhood table. It was just two Boston tables, the old head Boston guys, and then the young ones. Okay. So we already had an established table, so everybody from Boston just sat at the same table.
How was your stay at Walpole there? Did you get in any trouble there?
When I first got to Walpole, you know, there's two sides, the green side and then the gray side, where you first come in, then when you go through all your orientation things, they send you to the gray. But when I first got to Walpole, there was no issues. I was good until somebody came in from wherever county they came in from that claimed they had issues with me. So they just sent me straight to 10 block to the hole until that person went through classification. And then I just came out after that, then sent me.
So because somebody came in and told the administration they had issues with you, right? Which I mean, we kind of look at that as like, you're not supposed to say anything like that, but you get in trouble because this guy is pretty much, I would say, scared or whatever, or just, I don't know. And you sitting in the hole for that. I mean, how does that make you feel, man? You're just kind of there doing your thing, and then all of a sudden they got to go to the hole. Like, did you kind of feel like you got jerked?
Yeah, I don't even know why it happened. I'm thinking like, damn, did somebody say I did something? I'm just like confused because I've only been in population for like a month. And then they sent me to the hole, so I'm like, damn. So while I'm in the hole, I'm like, damn, why are they doing this? So people that's in the hole that's with me is like, somebody must have said something. And then unfortunately, like a lieutenant comes by and tells me like, yo, do you know such and such? I'm like, nah. I'm like, who is that? And then somebody in the hole like, oh, that's such and such from over here. I'm like, oh, okay, I see why now I'm here, because prior conflict or whatever, but we never fought each other, nothing like that. So he must have had to tell them.
You see the classification board. Talk a little bit about that. Like, what are your points at? I mean, you went to the hole for that, so I'm sure that didn't help.
Nah, so I don't think they gave me points for that because it wasn't nothing.
So did you get like a D report? Did you D board? So they pretty much just put you in there?
Basically, they let me out the hole just to do the class board and then sent me to the max because I had 12 points, and you need 12 points or more to go to the max. So they count your prior tickets, if you have any weapons, your criminal history, criminal record. Everything adds up to the point where 12 or better, you go to the max, and I hit 12 on the
dot.
On the dot.
Talk about when you took that plea bargain. How did that work? Did they lower some charges? What did you end up pleading to?
Okay, so like first I was charged with first degree. So in order to get a plea bargain, you got to plead to a lesser offense, and that lesser offense is manslaughter. And manslaughter only carries up to 20 years in mass, and they gave me 17 to 17 in a day.
Okay.
For that, so that's why I took 17 in a day, and went upstate.
Okay. Now you leave Walpole, you leave classification, you hit the max. Now it's like people are, there's lifers there. It's not like people are in and out like Walpole. People are kind of moving through. Just talk a little bit about that experience when you first got there. Was that something you were prepared for, or?
Like, because my co-defendant took time before me, so he was already up there. So like we wrote letters back and forth, phone calls. So I already got a gist of how it worked up there, like the gray side, the green side, and orientation up there. And knew like little issues I might run into if I go to a certain side of the prison. Gotcha. So like my first day in the max, they sent me to the gray side, which I knew I was gonna have issues. And the first day, somebody tried to stab me. So I got into that altercation. It was wild. Wow. You know what I mean? So first day, exact first day, as soon as I walk on the unit, come out for lunch, somebody already put me on that something might happen. And I already knew something was gonna happen anyways.
Damn.
So the guy's like waiting for me. But he's not even from that neighborhood that I had. That got some type of issue with me over my case. So it was just like, I know him. He's from a different county, he's part of a different thing, and just being upstate, people get down with stuff that they don't have nothing to do with, just to show that they're down.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to assault somebody like me or somebody that of my caliber or whatever standards, just to prove that they're with something. So he tried to stab me. We get into an altercation to fall into the cell. So when you go into a cell and the CO sees that there's a weapon, they close the door. They don't come in and try to like diffuse the situation. When they see a weapon, they leave the unit. So they close the door. This was all like brand new to me. Like, damn, they closed the door. Dude. So now it's
they
like,
ain't coming to save me.
Yeah, so now we're in there fighting or whatever the case may be.
Jesus.
Nothing really happened. They come in there, they mace spray the whole cell down. Both of us in there, they come get us, they bring us to the hole. Then after that, we do I think he gets a DDU ticket because of the weapon.
Yeah.
I do 15, 20 days in the hole and go back to the same unit. And then right after the same day, I get into another fight. That same day, I get out the hole. So with the individual, I knew that I was going to get into a situation with.
Yeah.
So me and him, we get into a fight. Then I go back to the hole, do another 15, 20 days. They sent me to the other side now. So I'm only there for like a week, 6 days. Me and somebody else, we get into a fight with the police.
Oh, okay.
So this is all within 35, 40 days.
Wow.
That I get into all these 3 incidents. But the only reason why I didn't get a DDU ticket for fighting with the police is because the police basically started the conflict between us. It was just like, I'm trying to defuse the situation with my cellie and the other officer, and this CO just comes out of nowhere and just like puts his hands on me. So I have to defend myself. And then they seen that on camera, which we end up getting through on that.
By the time when something like that happens, right, it'll get out to the news, and they'll make it seem like it was just a random thing. But a lot of times, it's build up to that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? The COs, not all of them, but they, you don't tell them about the 20 times that you asked them, please, can you not treat my visit that way, right? You know what I'm saying? You should ask respectfully 20 times, and then eventually it boils over and things happen. It's just not. That's why we're doing this here too, to kind of get the other side of that. You know what I mean? Why was the CO having an issue with y'all in general?
Because it wasn't even like an issue with us, kind of. Okay. It's just that CO in particular, he was like, because we was on the orientation block, and the way the prison set up, you start off on the orientation, and then when you get classed again, you go to whatever unit you're going to. But some people go to that unit, to that classification, and refuse to go. So some guys look at it as like PC move, like they don't want to go to general population. Right. So that CO in particular, he just thinks everybody's PC on that unit, or don't want to go to population or just they're not tough in his eyes, and he's big. I mean, so he just thinks he can just do that with anybody.
Yeah.
And then me and Marcelli, we're from Boston. I'm not saying I'm the biggest or the baddest, but we're not gonna go for disrespect, even from a CO or anybody else. Yeah. So my roommate, he was playing basketball, and the door was closing. So at a certain time, we got to walk in. So he was taking a shower to come back to the cell. So before the door closed, I told that particular CO, like, yo, he's in the shower. He's about to come right back right now. He said, all right. He let it go. Oh, yeah, just let the door close. You're good. He's good. I'm like, all right. And then when he's doing rounds before the next rec, he comes. He's like, oh, where's your roommate? I'm like, he's right behind you. You said he's good. And then he's like, all right. So he goes back to the desk to open the door for him. I'm sitting down. All I hear is like arguing. So I go to the door. They're arguing. I'm like, so I'm trying to talk to my roommate, like, yo, just come back, don't worry about it, boom, boom. And then the door opened, so now I come out to come like pull my roommate back in the room, like, you know how he is, there ain't even no point. Yeah. Then they still arguing, but the others, his partner, just sees two guys arguing with his partner. He just comes, I don't know why he came to me. Yeah. He just came to me and just like grabbed me. So now I'm just like, trying to talk, like, yo, just get off me. He's not even hearing it. So now me and him's fighting. Damn. And then the other two, they're fighting. And then it just got crazy after that. And then COs came in, maced us down, took us out of there.
But you end up beating all of that, and then what, they put you back on that same block?
Nah, they didn't bring it. We went to the hole, from the hole to avoid us going back to that block. They just classed us up there, classed me up there and sent me to a regular block.
How long did you stay in the max for?
So I went to the max the first time. I went up there in 2011. I didn't leave to 2013, 14. Okay. And then I went to Norfolk. And then I did like 11 months, 12 months in Norfolk, then went back to the max.
So before you end up back in the max, okay, so the first time in the max, are you able to do any programming or anything like that? I mean, you're in and out the hole, it seems like.
Yeah, the way the max is set up is not built to rehabilitate, like they say. Like, to get into a program, you can't have no enemies. Or even if you do have enemies, they can't be in the same program as you, which is somewhat understandable. Right. But in order to get into those programs, you have to be closest to your release date. So now someone like me that has 17 years or 14 years left at the time, somebody that comes in with 2-3 years get into the program before me. Yeah. So basically they're telling me to sit 10 years before I even get into that program. Wow. So this.
What kind of things were you doing up to pass the time up there?
Me? In the max?
The max, yeah.
In the max, playing cards. At the time I'm young, just playing cards. And most of the time just working out. Okay. That's what I did.
So you get to Norfolk. Norfolk's a little bit different. You able to get into any programs there, or is it the same deal because you still have so much time left that you kind of bumped on the back of the list?
In Norfolk, it's kind of different because it's a medium prison, and it's like a special type of medium prison. It's like more community, and it's more like programs and things like that. So you have access. They still, in some of the programs, like the CRA or something like that, it's hard to get in. They go by your earliest release date, but there's more access to more programs. Down there, it's not the ideal programs, but it's something to get like good time or things like that.
What's the worst thing about the max, you think?
How they treat us. Like the way they treat us is like just any little thing is like major aggression, just lock us down and things like that. And just the food wise, just the inhumane way they just treat people up there.
Yeah, I was just talking to my boy Biscuit, Free Biscuit. He's up to max now. They got him up there with 2 points. And he was telling me what they do when you get close to kind of getting classed out of there, they'll try to hit you with like a BS ticket to keep your points up, you know, because they got to keep people there. If people is not wilding out in the mediums to get sent up there, they kind of got to keep the people who are there, right? They got to keep the place running. They got to keep it moving. So I just want to put that out there. Like, definitely, what ways you think they can improve the max? Is it just put more programs in there, give more access to people to kind of better themselves?
Basically, it got to be programs that are worth something because they have programs that, they just go in there, you read a piece of paper, it's not really doing nothing. You gotta have programs like the TUPIT program and college programs, things like that I was a part of.
Yeah.
That still am a part of, but programs like that really do something that really people come in there really trying to help. But other than that, those programs that they do have up there is not really doing much. And the things they need to improve is like how they run the prisons, like just open it up. So the way they do it is like all mental. It's more mental than physical. Lock it in, every little thing, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, take this away, raise the prices on this, making your living conditions more difficult. Because if you go to Norfolk, it's the total opposite.
Yeah.
Only reason why Norfolk is like that because it's considered a medium and it's more community based because the person that gave them Norfolk, the prison, this is how they wanted it.
Yeah.
But you can apply that to the max as well. If you give somebody something that is worth something, they're gonna probably act a different way if they got something valuable to lose. Because if you're up there, you don't have nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
I mean, so you gotta give something to get something.
So when you get to Norfolk, did you notice a difference in just like the culture there, the way people are moving around? Are they less miserable than the max?
Like completely left. Norfolk's like I was young when I went to Norfolk, so I heard about it before even going there. I didn't even believe that even existed. Like the way they treat you with the food and just able to move around. I didn't even want to go because I knew I wasn't ready to go down there. The way my mentality was at the time. But when they send you somewhere, they send you. Yeah. So when I got down there, it was just like, I went to booking, and then they're like, yeah, go to the unit. It's like, nobody's gonna escort. I'm used to just being escorted, boom, doors buzzing, it's just open, the flowers, things like that. So I'm just like, I get there, then we just come out. People's wearing regular clothes. I'm used to jumpsuits, so that was just like a shell shock in itself, just being in Norfolk. And just like the activities they got $1 million gym, weights, which I love. So it's just like, I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
So time wasn't too bad there. But eventually what happens? Did you get sent to the max? You got in some more stuff?
Yeah, like I said, I was young going down there, just seeing it like it was wide open, just getting into all type of trouble with the IPs, being like in a perimeter security. Their mentality was like, guys coming from the max, you still have that max mentality of like doing what you want, and they don't like that. And Norfolk, a lot of things don't happen down there like that. So any little thing is like major down there. So like to survive down there, people sell stamps. So when you get rid of stamps, so I'm selling stamps because I got to take care of myself and you got to eat. They running down on me like, oh, what are you doing? You're selling. I'm like, man, if you don't like me selling stamps, this is. Like, you can do that in Max, you can't do that down here. So I'm like, you might as well send me back because this is the only way I'm gonna live. I mean, but they're giving me hassle about that, getting into all type of stuff, fights, and they just like, all right, get rid of them. Don't even let them back out.
Back to the max.
Yeah.
When you get back to the max, are you kind of like, damn, I messed up a good situation, or was it still that mentality like, oh, F it, whatever?
Yeah, kind of, just because I grew some people I haven't seen in years, was in Norfolk and just building relationship but the only good thing one of the good things that I seen in Norfolk that helped me do better in the max was just seeing how prison is like a mental thing more than a physical. Because the first time I was in the max, there's people beefing up there like, oh, when I see you beefing, like gang wars, things like that, like people beefing. But when I got to Norfolk, I'm seeing these same gangs and same people in Norfolk living with each other. That I'm just like, I don't care if they want to live with each other, but it's just the mindset when you're in the max, y'all ready to kill each other. But when y'all get to Norfolk, because it's ice cream, more freedom, y'all ready to coexist. And then when I went back to the max, some of the same dudes that was in Norfolk are back in the max, ready to kill each other again. So I'm just like, what changed from a couple miles in a different building? You know what I mean? So that's how I knew it was like you said earlier, they need people to stay there. So just the dynamics of the building and just the politics that play in the prison that doesn't make sense. So when I went back up there, it just gave me a whole different outlook of how to handle the max, which I stayed in the max and got out of there and went to Shirley Medium after that.
So the second time, how long were you in the max?
Second time I was in the max, I was there for like 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
And this time, not as much trouble? The first day wasn't as eventful as the first time?
Not the first day, because now they know who I am in the max now, so now they sent me. But definitely not as bad as when I first came in, but I definitely got into all type of stuff. Like, you probably spoken to some people already on here that claim they worked their magic on me and things like that, which wasn't the case. But, you know what I mean? Everybody has to, nobody loses a fight in prison.
Right.
Everybody's the richest in prison.
Yeah.
Everybody's the smartest, so, you know what I mean?
Hey, we here to talk about it. That's really all that matters, you know what I'm saying? The past is the past. Like I would say, it is what it is. Like, what's next? Let's go.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're tackling. So, seems like your mindset started to change a little bit after going to Norfolk for a little bit. Plus, it's not only being there, you're getting older, right? The brain developing thing is happening, right? You get to a certain age, you start kind of maturing more anyway. Prison or not, that's just, you know, that's what, at least that's what the science is saying. You get back to the max, you see the class board, Shirley medium. What do you notice is like the difference between, because Norfolk's a medium, Shirley medium's a medium. They're not the same though. Talk about the difference.
There's a big difference. Like I said, Norfolk's like more community. They don't let the cons run the prison, but they have more say so in there. But Shirley Medium's just like a baby max. It's like the same kind of structure with the lock-ins and things like that, but it's more free movement a little bit. It's not as locked down and stuck together like the max, but Shirley Medium's kind of open a little bit. Not too
Did they
much.
still have the weights when you got there?
Yeah, when I got there, and then I know recently something happened with the CO where they took all the weights.
Yeah, I guess he got cracked over the head or something. For the weight, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm sure he did nothing to deserve that, right?
Of course not.
Because for the most part, people don't randomly just hit
Just
COs.
do that.
I'm sorry, that doesn't happen like that. It really doesn't. But now you're in the medium. Are you still able to get into programs, school? Is that happening yet?
Yeah, like I said, the Shirley Medium is just
Baby Max.
Shirley is basically the Baby Max. So the programming is kind of hard to get in. But the only program that was like worth going to or doing was the college program, like the TUPIT, BC, Mount Wachusett, things like that.
Yeah.
And most guys was gravitating towards it because the good time and just the quality of the program.
Yeah, and just, I mean, learning. So what year did you get into the college?
I started with the basically business certificate college thing, and I got in like 2017.
From Shirley Medium?
Yeah, in Shirley Medium, the Mount Wachusett. I did that for like 18 months, got the certificate, and then I got into the BC bachelor's degree program. And I started that, and I'm currently about to graduate and get my bachelor's now.
Congratulations. Why are these programs, and especially the education, why do you think that's so important for people to get their hands on?
Because I feel like the college programs, or just like education period, now it doesn't have to be academia type of college program, just financial, just legal, any type of education that's being taught properly is worth it, because we grew up in the mindset that education is not cool. School's not cool. If you're in school, you're weak. You're lame. You're nutted out. Being in the streets is where it's at. That's where the girls at. That's where the money's at. So, and not the system, how it works is they want you to believe that. They want you to believe education is not cool, so because it keeps them in business, keeps the prisons open, keeps the police working, keeps them working as well. So it's just like education in this prison culture is not looked at as cool, but I can see that the tide's changing, because a lot of guys that I knew that was in the streets and getting into all type of trouble are in the college programs, and now they're out here with me changing the dynamics of guys coming home, and it's expecting guys to do the same thing to go back into prison.
Do you think the max should have like a college program, or do you think that's just like an unrealistic thing the way it's set up there?
I believe the max should have a college program. It's just the way the DOC structures the max to make it seem like it's so violent. Yeah, violent things do happen because they don't have nothing of value to hold on to. Because if you have college programs where you know you're going to benefit, or not even just college programs, just trades, anything to just value, they take away visits, make visits horrible. So they're like, basically we don't have visits. So, I mean, things like that. If they open it up more, yeah, you might have your little issues, but eventually they're going to find a way to coexist, because that happens everywhere. When you live somewhere, and yeah, you might have your little squabbles here and there, but eventually you're going to, when you go to the whole 10, 4, 5, 6 times over the same situation, you know it's not going to change. You're going to find a way to coexist, and I've seen it.
Yeah, if everyone's living good, I mean, most of the times people don't, would rather avoid the, man, we living good, we chilling, you know what I mean? Why beef and then lock the place down? You start getting these certificates. How are you feeling about yourself? Are you starting to gain a little bit more confidence in yourself, in your intelligence, and you're starting to get a clear picture of kind of what you want to do with your education?
Yeah, so like when I first started college, I always had confidence in myself in anything I do. So when I start something, I like to finish it. Yeah. So no matter if it was good, bad, or whatever. So just getting into college just like opened my eyes to like certain things within the system, and just me in the streets and just things like that, like how people in the streets take advantage of young kids and just not knowing any better, just opened my eyes to just a lot of things. And I just use that and just apply that in my life while I was in prison. Now that I'm out, I'm still doing the same thing. Now my thing is to help people to get out of their situation. So now this college thing that I'm doing is helping people. I'm seeing it help people get out, because now people are calling me to their parole board. People are telling me to come speak at their parole board, write letters, helping people get out. That's why I feel like this college thing brings. It's not just about books and getting a good job. It's really, now when a judge sees like, oh, a college student, a former incarcerated person got his degree, speaking out your parole board, like, judge, I got him. Yeah. Or parole board, I got him. He's gonna be good. They're gonna let him out.
Yeah. How does that make you feel to even be in the position to help someone out?
It feels good, because being incarcerated for 15 years, you've grown bonds with people that's not from your neighborhood, from all over the state. I've got friends from Worcester, Lawrence, Springfield, and doing double life sentences. Now, me being out here, able to partner with people like Mac Hudson, that's helping raising the age. We are a joint venture. The situation that got me incarcerated was joint venture, not knowing who the principal shooter is, just lock them up because we think they had the same mindset. Okay,
so I'm glad you brought that up. Talk a little bit about joint venture for those people who don't know.
So joint ventures basically is like a theory. A theory is basically what they think. And joint venture is basically like, say if me and you, if I pick you up from your house and bring you to the corner store, I don't know, I'm just thinking I'm giving you a ride, and you go into the store and rob the store and probably shoot the clerk or whatever, and the clerk dies or whatever, and you get back in the car and tell me to pull off, and I'll pull off, and we get stopped 2 blocks away. We're both getting arrested, and I'm getting charged with the same thing as you, with the murder of the clerk, and I'm facing life and you're facing life, and I had no idea what your intentions was to go into that store and shoot the person. So joint ventures, basically, they don't have to prove that I did anything. They just have to say that, oh, I had the same mindset, not knowing what my mindset was at the time.
Do you think that's a fair theory, a fair law? Why or why not?
Of course, they know it's not even fair. It's just a way to boost the stats up of their incarceration and just boost their conviction rate. Yeah. And they know it's not a fair law. That's why it's reasonable to them, because it's in their benefit. So now they've just got to say, oh, I don't have to say who did it. I can just say one of them did it. I'm going to, now the stats, if you do the numbers, they're going to get one of them. Yep. They're going to get, and that's good for them.
And there's been instances, I believe, too, where the person charged with the joint venture gets more time than the actual shooter.
Exactly.
Which doesn't make, it doesn't make sense. The punishment needs to fit the crime. You know what I mean? I feel like with joint venture, it's not really, the punishment's not fitting the crime. Definitely salute to everybody over there. We are joint venture. Make sure you follow them on Instagram. They're all good people, and we got to really put a movement behind this. You stay in Shirley Medium the whole time? The rest of that, because since you're doing the college?
Yeah, I tried to stay there because they didn't have it in the minimum, but Shirley Medium, the administration, they didn't like the guys in the college program because they see a change, and everybody wants to get in now because they see the benefits of the program. So now the guys that are in the program, they're trying to send them out to minimums, get them hemmed up for little dumb stuff. Oh yeah, you're going to the max. Some guys don't even got the 12 points. 10 points, yeah, you still going.
You think that those college programs get a lot of support from the administration? Or?
Not really. They don't get the support like when the college program that I was in, when they first got there, gave them the people coming in, like the professors coming in, a major hassle. Just, oh, what are you doing here? Harassing them, things like that, making it difficult for them to even get in. But they so committed to what they're doing, they still went through all the madness and still got in. And still came to do what they wanted to do.
Were they helpful, the administration that is, as far as setting up stuff like maybe study groups and things like that?
Nah, they didn't. The administration, all they cared about was like, all right, y'all got a classroom, that's it. Anything else we're not helping you with. We're not doing no study groups. Now that I've heard that, like they made like they was forced to make like a block for people that's in college. But when I was there, no.
Do you think that's a good idea to have everybody that's kind of on the same page in the same unit?
Yeah, kind of, because it makes everybody on the unit know like why they're there for, like what the benefits of the program that you're in. The only reason why I say kind of because now it feels like they're segregating against the other cons or people in the prisons, making them feel like now they put in two against each other, and that's how I feel like the system. It's like divide and then conquer. But if they like spread out throughout the blocks now, it doesn't create no divide. Like you're still locked up with us, and they can spread whatever information that they know about the college program. So now if you're just together, it's just everybody in the program and nobody else outside the program knows about the program.
Got you.
So
that makes sense. So what happens though? So you go to a minimum?
Yeah, after I leave Shirley, they end up sending me to a minimum. I stayed in the minimum for a little, for most of the time, right? Like, and then like a couple of days before I get out, they hem me up for some nonsense and send me to Concord.
And was this Shirley minimum?
Nah, Shirley minimum was closed at the time, so they sent me to Concord Farm.
Concord Farm, and then you got lugged back to Concord with how much time left?
Only like a week or two left, and then I went home.
Were you able to continue that college when you went to the minimum? How did that work?
They just, like, I couldn't at first, and then they just, like, with the professors, like Hillary Bender pushing the administration to put the programs in the minimum, they finally just started, like, 1 or 2 classes right before I left.
So talk a little bit about just the program in general for the people that don't know. My Tern, TUPIT.
It's basically the same thing, but My Tern or TUPIT is Tufts University Prison Initiative through Tisch College. So basically, it starts inside, like they have college courses inside institutions, and then professors come in, teach them. They have student assistants that come in, teaches the students, and they get college degree credits, eventually get into a associate's or a bachelor's degree. And then if you don't finish inside, you can come home. And the My Tern program is basically at Tufts University through the Tisch College at Medford, Mass. And it's in conjunction with the Tufts students and the formerly incarcerated guys going to class together, doing class work. It's just like a regular class with just formerly incarcerated students, and they just help you with everything that you need: housing, jobs, and they provide education, stipends, things like that, do public speaking, things like that.
At some point you get close, obviously you're getting close to going home, you're getting shorter and shorter after you do all that time. Are you starting to develop a plan for your release?
Oh yeah, definitely. My plan started way before I was getting out, saving money, things like that, and just knowing exactly, like when I got into the college program, at first I just did it because I was getting max good time.
Yeah.
So but as I'm doing it, it's just like you said, your brain starts developing. When from 17, now I'm 30 something. So now it's like my brain is fully developed now. Now I'm seeing the benefits and how this can help not just me, my family, and people outside my family, friends that I've created close bonds with. Because the thing that I always, when I got out, noticed was like, you see on Instagram, Facebook, free such and such, free such and such. But in my mind, it's like, what are you doing to free him?
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, are you writing letters for parole board? Are you trying to pay for his lawyer, help him with his lawyer, or help him build his case, do research? Like, what are you doing to help that person get out? And that's the thing that always bothered me, because when I was inside, there was people, oh, free such and such, free such and such, that never even said one word to me while I was inside or helped me in any way, form, or fashion. And I'm not a hypocrite. So when I say free somebody, I'm actually doing something to help that person get out. It's not just words, because just words without actions, nothing.
In what ways can people help? Say if they want to help.
All right, everything is not about giving the money, paying for his lawyer. Like the organizations like We Are Joint Venture. Those are situations where you can show up to the State House. You can show up, sign bills. You don't have, it's not, everything's not about money. It's a click of a button, support, following, subscribing, things like that. Or writing to your local representatives, people that like Rachel Rawlins, things like that, or Liz Miranda, or even supporting guys that dedicate their lives to helping dudes get out, raising the age to a certain age, to what, 20 now, 21. Like people like Mac Hudson, those are the people that I communicate with and show support with in anything they do.
If you would explain the worst part about prison to somebody, how would you explain that?
The worst part about prison is basically the inhumane things that they do to you. Like put you all the way down to the point where they think you're not worth nothing. Like things like strapping people down in chairs because of incidents. Like that's what they did to me. Strapped me down into a chair to a point where I had to basically learn how to walk again. Wow. So like things like that.
How long were you strapped to that chair?
For 24 hours. So like they strap, I don't know if you ever seen a chair, but it's basically they strap you down to your chairs with your hands behind your back, full body. You don't eat. Some people shit, piss on the seat. They don't take you out of it. And then every like 4 or 5 hours, they bring a nurse, check your vitals to see if you're alive. And then when they finally deem you not combative, they let you out the chair. But by that time, your legs is done, dead.
So you think after like years of them treating people like they're nothing, do you think it's easy for some people to actually get caught up in that and then start to believe maybe they ain't nothing? How hard is it to fight that?
Definitely, people do believe that. People, like, if they've been treated like that before they got incarcerated by the police, then the justice system, and then while they're incarcerated, and they don't hear nothing other than that, they're gonna start to believe it themselves. It's just a forms of de-affirmation. Like now, when you got forms of affirmation, like, oh, you are something, then you start to believe, like, oh, you could do this. But if they're hearing it all their life that, oh, you ain't worth shit, you ain't worth nothing, you start to believe that.
Especially, I feel like if you don't have a support system on the outside.
Definitely.
Like if you got nobody on the outside that's there for you, you know, it's tough. So if you got people locked up, make sure you support them, man. The emails are free, the phone calls are free now. So I'm tired, you know, there's no excuses now, you know what I mean? You get up there, sign up there, go on Access Corrections. This is how I did it. I go on, if you know the name, go on Access Corrections, you type the name and you can get the W number from there. You put the W number on the other site, on the core links, right? And then find the person. So make sure y'all support your people, man. And how important do you think it is for people to get that support from the outside? Because I think like a little love goes such a long way in there, bro. Such a long way. You can make someone's day, bro.
Exactly. That little sport, it doesn't even, when people hear, oh, somebody's locked up, he's calling me, oh, it's about money. It's not always about money. Some people just want to hear your voice. Now that the phone calls are free, there's no excuse not to pick up. But the little things matter. Just like yesterday, I'm driving in the car with my niece, my sister-in-law's birthday. I'm driving, my boy calls me, and he's not even from Boston. He's from New York, but got locked up in Springfield. But I stay connected. When he calls me, like, oh, bro, I just got your pictures. Oh, you're doing good. Right. He's just happy just to get those pictures. And it's just pictures. Something that costs $5 to send through free prints. So let's click of a button, boom, it's done. So that little things like that matters.
So talk about your release. You get out. Now, are you already all set to kind of continue the college when you get out, or how does that work? So like basically, when I got out, I wasn't never in the I was in a different college program than the one at Tufts University. So my college program didn't have like a reentry section yet because it was just new. So I got connected with the TUPIT program, met with Hillary. She accepted me into the program. Awesome. And she just, like I said, I went in at 17, so all this Facebook or Instagram and all this technology stuff, I didn't know nothing about that. So she just
showed me everything through the program. Now I'm able to log into like college websites and get on class and do my classes and things like that. So that program helped me transition from not knowing how to navigate through regular basic things, opening a bank account, getting my ID, things like that, which things that we were supposed to already have before getting out.
Right.
And we just finding it difficult to navigate and get it out here. And through that program, helped me academically and helped me basically with regular basic life stuff.
So just talk a little bit about what else, what have you been up to since you've been out? You've been out, what, 2 years now?
Yeah, almost 2 years, yeah.
So what are some of the things that you've been up to since then?
So, like I said before, I try to use my situation to help other dudes get out. Because when I was 17, I got locked up, and I could have been under that juvenile law, but they raised it to 17. Somebody had to do that.
Yeah.
They just didn't wake up one day and be like, oh, let's just raise the age. People put the work in to get it to that age, and they're still working to get it higher to help dudes come home. So now I felt like, how am I going to be able to put my help in to help other dudes get out? So now that's why I do motivational speaking. I speak at colleges, talking to college students, high school students. I partner with TPP, Transformative Prison Project. They go to DYS, just talk to the kids. I partner up with them. I help people like Mac Hudson, whatever he throwing a community event, I'm there. I help with Ms. Sheik with Parties from Above, things like that. And even right now, I help guys from inside. They want to start their nonprofit.
Yeah.
Fathers Not Dead. People basically helping formerly incarcerated people's kids not to enter the system by educating them, helping them, partnering with them, and just helping them out. So that's how I do it. The little things I can.
That's amazing. This thing some people don't understand. As much as we try to change our lives sometimes, that person that whatever might have wronged way back in it, whatever, they hold grudges, they hold resentments, and you got to still kind of be on your stuff. What do you think's been like the most important thing for you to stay free and not go back?
Okay, the most important thing to me is for family, first and foremost, because when I first went in, it was just me and my siblings, and that was it. So now I got nieces, nephews, so like now it's like they never seen me when they was born. Now I just came home. Now it's like, it's different. Now I got people to live for, people to help, and just the family, the love that they show me, I never got nowhere else. So now just the family dynamic is most important. And another thing is, the family that I left behind is like important for me. Like, I'm not no good for them in there.
Yeah.
We might crack soups and things like that, or play basketball, but that's not beneficial. Me being out here sending them pictures or going to their parole days or helping them with lawyer fees or things like that is gonna really be more beneficial. They tell me that every day. Stay out there. We need you out there. Even though, like you said before, things in your past, I can't change from where I'm from. I can't change the past. But like you said, I'm always gonna be on point. I'm always gonna move correctly and just do me at the end of the day.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about what you got going on for short-term goals and then long-term goals.
Short-term goals, basically finish my degree, which I should be doing next year around this time. So I should have my degree in business, and kind of like short-term goal, I got like 2 goals, basically like starting my business. Now, like I said, I worked out while I was in prison, and I grew to love it. It's like my therapy. Yeah, so now I opened up personal training, active fitness, like you see I'm wearing.
Absolutely.
So basically that's what I do now. I do personal training, and then eventually I'm gonna lead to probably most likely real estate and just open up my own real estate thing.
Why is fitness important to you?
Fitness for me was like being incarcerated. That was like my getaway spot. Now I'm just thinking, I gotta lift these weights, I gotta do this, and kept structuring for me. And it was just health-wise, because in there I've seen people die, get old limbs, diabetes, things like that, because the food that they give you is all processed food. Basically it's like a slow death, and they just capitalizing off of us being in there. We can't have access to nothing else but what they give us. So the way that I used to combat that was just try to find the best food possible and just stay healthy, just run the yard, lift weights. And just people seeing me do that got them curious, like, oh, damn, what are you doing to see me? Oh, the results that I'm getting is like, oh, they want the same thing. So now I just seen how I can just use that in this, with Instagram, Facebook, things like that, how I can use that financially and just help out.
So people think fitness, a lot of times you think about physical, right? Physical fitness. But I feel like there's a relationship too to the mental health aspect.
It's definitely beneficial for the mental health, because the way, like, when you work out, it lets off some type of endorphins in your brain, but it's like a pleasure. Endorphins is like a pleasure thing that sets off in your brain that keeps you calm, happy, and it gets you out of a state of sadness, depression, and things like that. And then a lot of people in prison, not all, have some type of form of, not major mental health, or just little things, depression, anxiety, and those endorphins can stop things like that. And the only way to get those endorphins is through working out, other than the illegal, drugs and things like that. That's the natural endorphins that help people with some type of depression or some type of mental health. So working out consistently, building a habit, you come to be addicted to working out.
What's your favorite part about working out?
You know what I mean? The muscles, you know what I mean?
Building the muscles, but even just for looks, you feeling stronger, you feel better too. It's all related for sure.
Everything from head to toe, you just feel different. When you finish coming out the gym, you just feel different.
What advice would you give to somebody that asked you?
If they never worked out before, start off small. Don't be scared. Don't think because you go into a gym, you see some guy lifting 315 or 225 or something like that, that's where you have to start off. Because when I started off with just the bar. And the bar is only 45 pounds. I didn't even know how to hold it. Somebody had to run over and show me, like in Norfolk, like had to show me, like, yo, that's not how you do it. Boom, boom, you do it like that. I'm like, all right. And then finally put 10 pounds on there, 45 pounds, 225, 315. You just baby steps. You don't have to rush it. They didn't build Rome in a day.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just baby steps. And then eventually, if that's where you want to get, you're going to get there.
How do you approach your nutrition as far as that goes, the fitness? Like, what's your diet look like? What do you eat? Is that something that you would pay a lot of attention to?
Yeah, I definitely pay a lot of attention to it. But when I first came home, being so gone for so long, I'm just like, oh man, now I got access to all type of food.
I haven't had this in a while. I haven't had this.
Exactly. Then eventually you get back to it, like, I mean, salads, protein shakes, things that I didn't have inside. Now I can order it, buy it from the GNC store and things like that. So just paying attention to what you eat. Yeah. Even if you're going out or traveling and just like, oh, it's my cheat day, I can eat 10, 15 sandwiches or whatever. But you got to pay attention to what you eat, and that's what keeps you, because people just think, oh, I can eat whatever I want and just work out for an hour.
Right.
To get results, it's all about what you eat. It's not about how many. You can work out in the gym for 15, 20 minutes a day and eat properly and get the results as somebody that spends an hour in the gym and eats crazy.
What advice would you give to somebody who struggles with diet and doesn't have the willpower to stay away from the honey buns or something like that?
You just got it. You say like you eat 5 honey buns in a week. All right, start with 4. And after you do that, start with 3, and then 2. And then eventually when you notice, like, damn, I don't even really need this, or just substitute it with something else. Yeah.
So fitness is great, and it like you said, it makes you feel good physically, mentally, everything like that. Why did you want to pass that on to other people and help other people in their fitness journey?
Yeah, so basically at first I never even thought about even like doing it. Even in there I had like workout partners, people just wanted to get on, but I never knew like it was a thing. I seen it like on TV and things like that, but I never thought that would be me. But just seeing people gravitate towards me and just want the same results that I'm getting, they're like, okay, if he can do it, he might be able to help me in my journey of trying to get it. But people that's like overweight or just self-conscious of themselves, they just want somebody. Some people just need that push. Like some people can just go to the gym by themselves and just work out and do it consistently. Some people have come to me like, oh, I'm like, why do you need me? When you can just click on the internet and look at workouts, but they need somebody that pushes them. So I feel like I can be that person that pushes that individual.
Hold them accountable and everything like that, for sure. So tell me a little bit about why is it that you wanted to come up here and tell your story?
I don't want people to glorify prison, because growing up in the hood and growing up like that, it's a badge of honor to go to DYS. It's a badge of honor to go to South Bay. Oh, I'm about to graduate and go upstate. Oh, I'm about to super graduate. I'm about to get my doctorates in the feds. They think that prison is where it's at. I'm just like, if you knew, you wouldn't want to go there. Because if prison was where it's at, all these rich white folks would send their kids to prison. Oh yeah, go to Shirley, go to Norfolk, go to the Max. This is not where it's at.
Not at all.
At all. So I felt like this podcast, like the bounce back, is like, all right, these guys made a mistake, or these guys are subject to their environment and had to do what they had to do to survive. And now they have an outlet where it could be music, it could be fitness, it could be sports, it could be anything.
Absolutely.
And then that's my whole thing now. It's like, I try to help guys get out here, because there's guys that are nice and ball in there. I'm like, what are you doing in here?
Rap, ball, everything.
Tattoos. I'm like, damn, this dude's nice. One of my old roommates was a tattoo artist. He's drawing in the jail, making money. I'm looking at his drawings. I'm like, you don't tattoo? He's like, yeah, I do it occasionally on the street. And I'm like, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, we really had like an hour conversation in the cell. Like, you really need to do this. Now, he's out there doing tattoos by Mike. He's doing great, traveling all over the country, doing tattoos. We speak all the time.
So they got like barber shops, barber training and stuff like that. And I know with the needles and the blood and everything like that, but it seems like in prison, dudes are gonna do it anyway. Like, why not make that something
a trade? And then,
right? I mean, do you think that would be a good idea?
That would be an excellent idea, because people, like you said, people's gonna do it anyways. So why not get it done in a safe and healthy and regulated way, and make a certificate for it and things like that? Because you have welding and things like that, and carpentry. People could get hurt, but it's all about money. How are they going to financially benefit off of letting some guy tattoo? They can benefit off this welding and things like that, make guys work for pennies and then sell it for thousands. So the system is all about financial gain for them.
Yeah, a lot of people go into the system. We don't have a skill or education, or very limited skills and education. Why is it important that somebody try to pick up at least one of those, if not both, while they're incarcerated? Pick up a skill or education.
Skill or education, I think, is real crucial for somebody that's going to re-enter back into society. Is because now you have something that's tangible that you can bring anywhere with you. Because now you got a felony or record, people's gonna look at that. But if you bring value, because a lot of people don't have a trade or things like that, or carpentry, plumbing, or whatever the case may be, that wants to do those type of jobs out here. But if you have the certificate, the OSHA 10, OSHA 30, or things like that, people that own these construction sites or whatever the case may be might hire you just because this guy over here doesn't have it. That's less money they got to give him, and send him to school to learn and get the OSHA 10, OSHA 30. This guy already has it. Why not give it to him? He already knows it. He got the experience. He's done it. And then the academic side is like, when you get that associate's or bachelor's degree, your pay level, people don't know that. They don't teach you that. Like, okay, all you got to do is 4 years of school, boom, and you get the base salary is 90,000, 80,000, or whatever degree you're going after. So it's like, all right, just go 4 years of school just to get this certain amount of money, but you'll risk it by doing all this other stuff and not even get as much money as
the math don't math.
It don't add up to me. So being incarcerated and going through what I went through is just like, now I see the value of education and things like that. So it's like, it doesn't add up to me.
What's your favorite part about education in school and learning?
Yeah, like my favorite part is like able to teach others.
Yeah.
And then like,
it's all about the giving back. Yep.
Exactly. It's all about the giving back. So what am I going to do with it if I can't pass it on to younger cats or even older? And I like learning from other people. I learn from everybody.
Absolutely.
I apply it. So it's the best way to learn, to not get into some, is learning from other people's mistakes.
Absolutely.
And then applying it to yourself and going on in life is like, and then that's why I teach guys or guys that I'm interacting with, like, yo, this is what I do. You don't have to do what I do. Just find what you do and just go hard at it. And just like, and now that's why I like to talk to guys, young cats from around my way that's probably incarcerated right now or before. And my door is always open to them. They call me, getting advice, like, because they know what they're going through is already did it. I just did it. So now getting advice from me. So like,
what kind of things are you telling them? What kind of advice are you giving them?
So like, the type of advice I'm giving them, I'm not trying to tell them like, do this, do that. Right. Because when I was their age, nobody could have told me, do X, Y, do Z. My thing is just giving them the information, the truthful, honest information about the path they're going in, and just let them weigh it out. What makes more sense to you? Like a situation, he called me a couple of months ago. This is before the phone calls was free. So I always tell them like, because I know his sister, he's younger than me. When I seen him, he was only 7 when I was home. Wow. Now he's older, he's doing time now. I'm told his sister, tell him to call me. My phone's on, I got money on the phone for him. Boom, he calls me. And then like, now they want to do 3-ways. We're kicking it, boom, boom, but we're not in the same age, right? So we don't really have that much to talk about. So he's like, I'm like, if you need a 3-way to call one of your friends, I got you. Or call your family or something like that. He was like, oh yeah, call my boy. He calls his boy. So now,
just talk a little bit about why we got to do 3-ways, right? Is it an issue to try to get somebody's number on the pin sheet? And like talk a little bit about the process of that.
The process of that is basically they only do it 3 times a year, and you only can have 10 people on your list. So like, say if they start in January, you can't do it till April. So those 10 people you put on your list, those are the only 10 people you can call. So now say if one of those 10 people loses their phone or change their number, that's it. You can't call. Hassle. Now you gotta wait 4 months to change that. And now you gotta find a way to get in contact with them to get their new number, put it on your list. And they only give you a couple of days to even put people on your list. So it's just so difficult. So guys just have certain people that they call that they know that didn't change their number, and just call the people that they need to call.
Absolutely.
So I mean, so like,
well, like you said, we're giving them this is why we're doing this. Like we're putting it out there. The information's out there. You can't say these older cats never told us. We're trying to put it out there for them, right? Like you said, and they can weigh it on themselves. But like you said, it's that DYS to county to state to the feds, that whole line. If you was able to, like, what kind of things would you say to them DYS kids to kind of stop it there and not have to go through the things you went through?
Like, I always like saying that Jadakiss said. He said, never let your emotions supersede your intelligence. So I know they're smart. I knew I was smart when I was in DYS, because the things you doing is in these streets, you have to move calculated. You have to survive. You have to, so you have the intelligence. It's just, you're just using the intelligence in a different dynamic. So we know you have the intelligence, but now you're just letting your emotions supersede your intelligence, which where your intelligence is supposed to supersede your emotions. You're supposed to control your emotions in certain situations. But growing up, something happened, he stepped on my sneakers, I'm mad, that's disrespect, so I should do something to him. I mean, he's talking to my girl, this and that, I gotta do something to him. But don't let that change. That 30-second decision can change your whole life. Absolutely. Where you're just sitting in there now, never ever coming home, or spending decades in prison. So it's like, or even dead. I mean, so it's like, never let your emotions supersede your intelligence. That's something that, when I heard that, stuck with me, and just that's why I try to find a way to pass it on.
Is there anything that you wanted to touch on, or some closing words kind of before I let you go?
Little things I want to touch on is just like the youth. The youth is like, you can't save everybody. That, like, I'm a realist. You can't, whatever I say today, it's not going to touch everybody's heart. It's not going to change everybody. But there's certain things that you could do, or I could do, or everybody could do, is just give them the information.
Listen.
People's going to leave your corner. People's not going to be there. People's not going to pick up your phone call. People's going to desert you. People's just going to, you're going to be buried alive in prison. They're going to be like, oh, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. But not do nothing for you, or help you get out this situation, or make your situation even better. So it's just like, weigh out your options. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? That's all you got to weigh. This, I mean,
just really got to, think before you act. And so on that note, where can people find, if they want to get, active fit, if they want to be trained, anything like that, if they're looking for stuff, where can they find that?
On Instagram right now, it just started, so it's just Active Fitness 617, so it's on Instagram, you can just hit that up.
Okay. Did you want to put your personal Instagram out there too?
Oh, Roxbury Brave, exactly.
Hey man, I appreciate you coming through.
Yep.
You're doing your thing for sure, man. And a big shout out to TUPIT, man.
Yeah,
did you want to shout out anybody particular on TUPIT, man?
Oh yeah, definitely all the guys
flowers,
from TUPIT. Yeah, me, Hillary Bender, Quinn. I mean, y'all did a great job, BC. I mean, that's where I go to, so they helped me out as well. It's everybody in TUPIT.
Well, there he is. That's my guy, O Stacks. Guys, it's B Luke. It is what it is. The Bounce Backs podcast. Remember, what's next is what you make it. On that note, we out of here. Bounce back, you got a moment when they see you.